Hey everybody, my name is Candis Dyer and this is Canna Corner. We are brought to you live by the Human Solution International and KM420 Radio, WJAE420.com. They are replayed on KM420 Radio and WJAE420.com. So big shout out to all of them. And I am fixing to try this one more time. If y'all were just on with me, internet's going crazy, and I want y'all to be able to hear what James has to say. So, we're going to try this one more time. I'm going to call into him so that y'all can hear. And we are talking about CPS corruption. And not going to say if or if not, that is why I'm having issues on my live feed. But, so let's try to call him one more time. James Brown, everybody. Make sure y'all can hear that. Can everybody hear everything okay?
Hello?
Hey, James.
Hi.
How are you doing? Let's try this again.
I'm doing better. Thank you so much.
I'll tell you what, CPS corruption, man, having some issues getting this out. So
yes, ma'am. You know, they've been trying to stop me for already quite some time. Once I discovered in my case on how to challenge jurisdiction as a living human being and not that birth certificate that they're going off of.
Yes, definitely. Well, I wanted everybody to know, okay, the reason that you started fighting so hard. Let's go over that one more time, just in case they didn't hear.
Yes, ma'am. The reason why I started fighting so hard against CPS and DCFS and the corruption that's going around worldwide is because my little boy, he was ripped from me, and he basically... they've fabricated stories. They've lied about how his health just deteriorated, and basically he can't walk, can't talk no more. And they got so much lies that they got caught. They didn't know what to say anymore or how to go about feeding me more lies. And because I saw nothing but the truth, that what they were doing was not good. And I broke down and I started praying to God and told him, as I said, basically, what can I do to be able to get heard and be able to get seen in these courts? And I started researching, and basically I came across something very valuable, and that was challenging courts' jurisdiction. Basically, I went in there and challenged them as a living human being, one of our Creator's children, and basically it shut down the whole courts. Basically, they had to hear me out, and I was there not as that birth certificate that they created at my birth, and it messed them up. It crashed their system right there, and I got in the way of their children trafficking. So I told myself, I said, do I want to continue, or do I want to stop where I'm at, and and just get away from all the evilness that they were giving out, So I told myself, I said no, and I stayed fighting, and I started helping families, and basically I fought very hard to where I got a reversal, and that reversal came from Supreme Courts. And they granted it, and now I end up beating DCFS in Santa Fe Springs, California. And I proved the fraud, I proved the treason, the way they extort our birth certificates, and even give us death registration numbers. I also have a death registration number, and I was able to show them how they're operating under this CESDVQ or QV Act of 1666.
Wow. So you won your case, and so for everybody that doesn't know, Munchausen syndrome is kind of what's going on with your child, right?
Yes, ma'am. You got it.
And CPS was trying to take them away because of cannabis use?
Yes, because of cannabis use. They said because I smoked marijuana that they were taking my rights as a father away.
Yeah, it's just such bullshit. I mean, it's okay for you to take all this like prescription medication. They had me on like 3 milligrams of Xanax a day, and man, I didn't even know what I was doing half the time. But that was okay. But if you smoke a joint as a parent, then
they bring the book at you, you know.
Exactly.
And it's the fake book too. That's the thing. The Black Laws Dictionary. It's all dead Latin, so basically one for the dead, you know? That all caps title, which is on the name of every business card or every bank card we got. It's all in all caps, and that represents the death, the dead.
And let's talk about that for a little bit. I know that you sent me a thing saying the whole thing that you're explaining. Can you explain that a little bit to our followers?
Yes, ma'am. That would be perfect. Basically, I'm going to be posting some of the information that I've come across too, so this way they can be able to research and see what it's all about. And let's see, it says right here. Yeah, it goes all the way back to the 1600s, and that's basically how they've been operating. So I'm gonna read a little bit. It says an act of redress of inconveniences by want of proof of the deceases of persons beyond the seas or absenting themselves upon whose lives estates depend. And it says a recital that SSQVs have gone beyond sea, and that revisioners cannot find out whether they are alive or dead. Whereas diverse lords, and then it says, and others have granted estates by lease for one or more life or lives, or else for years, determinable upon one or more life or lives, and it often estates have been granted, have gone beyond the seas of, or so revolutionaries cannot find out whether such person or persons be alive or dead by reasons whereof such legislators and revolutionaries have been held out of possessions of their tenements for many years after all the lives upon which such estates depend are dead in regard that the leaders and revolutionaries, when they have brought to prove the death of their tenants, when it is almost impossible for them to discover the same, for the remedy of which mischief so frequently happening to such leaders and revolutionaries. And so basically what they have done is they go off of that all caps name, and that right there, they use it in court and basically say we've not only abandoned our children, but we've also basically gave them up to the state when we were signing that birth certificate when we were in the hospital with our significant other.
Right. But this is when England over.
Yes, this is when
they declared it. So does this still qualify for the U.S.?
Yes, it does. Yes, ma'am. Because basically, the U.S. is a nation, and the United States of America is a corporation. It's a for-profit business.
Right. And you're telling everybody that you used this to fight your case and won.
Yes, ma'am, I did. I used this to fight my case, and I got it all reversed. I got everything to where they had no jurisdiction over me, over the living human being, which is how I distinguished myself from the artificial entity. And that's the answer that I was looking for, and I needed in order to be able to get them on an administrative error and be able to expose all their corruption, all the way up to kidnapping kids, all the way up to basically getting into our birth certificates and social securities.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes deep, yes, ma'am. And like that right there, like every time I try to go into another court and I go and deem myself as a natural living human being coming as one on the land, basically they tell me that I have no reason to be in courts because I'm the living and not the dead. They summons the dead. That's why they send you summons letters in the mail.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. They're summoning the dead to come to court, and basically that's the dead. When they say all rise, when the magistrate says that, that's basically him rising the dead to come alive.
Right. Well, I'm definitely not a legal lawyer or know anything about any of this stuff, but I do know a lot about CPS corruption.
Yes, ma'am. The corruption. So that right there, that gives them the authority and basically the okay to go and do their crimes, what they're doing in their kidnappings and all that stuff. And basically that's how they come about it. They say they come in the kid's life to intervene out of their good faith, but in reality it's not good faith at all.
Right.
It's for profit, yeah.
Well, I know one thing. I followed a story really close, and it didn't have nothing to do with cannabis. I'm going to go ahead and tell a little bit of it to them. There was this lady on Facebook, and she was a foster mom to like 10 or 11 kids. And she took in this little boy, this little baby. That was so sad, y'all. He was raped by some guys, and he got AIDS. And so he had AIDS when he went into her custody. Well, in the meantime of her keeping him, he died. He passed away. And CPS tried to say the kid never had AIDS, even though they had paperwork and everything. CPS is trying to say that he got it in her care. And she had to fight and fight. They took all of her foster kids away. In this time, 3 of them were molested. All of them were abused in some sort of way. And this didn't even have nothing to do with her. The kid was sick, unfortunately, when he got there. And even have paperwork and everything showing that. They refused to look at it. They refused. They lied and said, no, that's not true. And come to find out, after years of fighting, it all was true. The child had it whenever he came. And now the damage is already done. Her kids that she loved dearly and she was raising and protecting and taking care of kids that aren't even hers, that she just wants to give a better life. And then they take them away and other worse things happen. And then they sit there and lie and try to cover up the fact that they made a mistake.
Yes, they do.
And this happens all the time. Like,
in every parent's case that I've been working in too, and working on, it's been like that too. Fabricated stories, just to remove these children, and it's a shame because what they're doing is they're using a template that they created, and that with that template, it's utilized to steal our children and basically force us out of their lives.
Well, I noticed a lot. Our government likes to tell us that things are for our safety as they're taking away rights.
Yes,
Like,
that's one thing they like to say. Use one word is safety.
yes.
And safety plan or in the
Right.
best interest of the kids.
Exactly. But it's not the best interest of the child. They're putting them in worse situations. And the thing is that CPS wasn't meant to hold so many children. And because they're taking them for these crazy reasons to begin with, now, granted, if you're abusing your child, you deserve to have your child taken. Like, I'm not saying that CPS doesn't do good in some cases, but I do say that they have overwhelmed them with all these cannabis cases being one, and they're overwhelming them to where they're not even able to check on these kids properly. They're sticking kids with people that aren't even properly vetted, and they're doing all this horrible stuff that's worse on our kids than just leaving them with their pot smoking parent. And yeah, it's just crazy. And I do know that there's a lot of corruption. I know that there's a lot of times that the government will mess up and they don't want to admit that they did. They try to blame it and pass the buck. But this is something that we definitely need to figure out, because cannabis should not be a reason to take somebody's kid away.
Exactly, and especially, all it will make you do is want to go either eat, feed your children, or even just watch a movie,
Right. Yeah, the pharmaceuticals, the fact that you can sit around and get drunk with your kids and all that's okay. But God forbid a parent smoke a joint and now suddenly they're endangering their kids. It's just crazy.
It's nuts. It's beyond crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, I thank you very much for coming on, James. Did you have anything else you wanted to tell anybody about?
No, ma'am. I was going to say, on the next show, I was going to say that I will have everything all in order, and I'm going to prepare it in a document. So this way we can present it to everybody, so this way they can be aware of what is actually going on.
Right, definitely. I think that a lot of people didn't understand, and including me. I don't know a lot about the law and the way it's written and stuff, and they do that on purpose because
it's legalese.
Right.
They're tricking everybody by thinking, oh, you gotta register your house, you gotta register your children, you gotta register your car. No, those are your unalienable rights to be able to give consent to any of those things,
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to be able to teach you guys and teach everybody about what I've discovered about this whole for-profit business that they're running, and basically on how we can shut them down as we the people can shut them down and basically abolish our government if they're doing bad,
Right. We should be able to fight back if we catch them doing things that aren't right.
Exactly.
We would be thrown in jail and had the book thrown on us.
In a heartbeat.
And we have to prove ourselves innocent. And
exactly.
It's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Right, but they don't have to prove anything.
No,
basically, you have to prove that they're doing wrong.
Yes, and the only way to prove that is basically deeming yourself alive. And I have forms, which is it's a 206 form, and basically that one is to declare you as a living human being on the land. And once you do that, then all jurisdiction goes to you, and your status changes to where you're not a citizen, but you're part of a person on the land, a man on the land, or a woman on the land, and that's how you can separate yourself from government and sue them in their original or in their official capacities.
Right. Yes. Well, heck yeah, thank you so much, James.
You're very welcome. God bless you.
You too, and you'll definitely have to come on again and explain it all a little bit more in depth.
That would be perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Heck yeah, y'all. Thank you so much to James. I'm so sorry you're having to go through all that with your child. Nobody should have their kids taken away because of a plant. I know Colin, I just saw Colin join us. I know he's dealt with this. And so many other people. Ruby said she's been dealing with that. I know that I've been investigated a few times for cannabis. Of course, they didn't take my kids away, thank God, and they dropped the cases. All I had to do is clean up and prove to them I'm not smoking anymore, and then they dropped the case. But a lot of people aren't that fortunate. A lot of people end up having their kids ripped out of their lives, having to get a lawyer if they're lucky enough, if they have the money to fight it, and if not, I guess they lose their children, y'all. I mean, it's crazy, and nobody's going to take care of your kid better than you. Now, if you're an abusive person and you are hurting kids, God help you, because, I don't know, they need to throw the book at you. But just because of cannabis, y'all, I don't think that that's a good enough reason to take your kids away. But, cool. So, that is all I got for the CPS corruption and stuff today. But I do have a few things that I need to talk about, events that we have coming up. Number one being, I am so happy to announce the Human Solution International Texas chapter is now got the Facebook page up. Of course, Facebook is grounding me from posting on pages right now, so it's up, but not doing anything until they unground me. Y'all can find that at the Human Solution International Texas chapter on Facebook, as well as Instagram, THSITXCH. So that's the Human Solution International Texas chapter abbreviations. And we are over there on Instagram. So y'all go check that out. I don't get grounded as much over there. So you probably find me whenever I'm grounded over there as well. But cool deal. So also, Cannabis webinar. There is a cannabis webinar talking about grants. If you are an industrial hemp farmer, there's some grants out there for y'all. And if y'all don't know what a grant is, it's when you can get some funding to start up a certain thing. Okay, so in this case, you have to have already been a hemp farmer, and then they're going to give you a certain... Anyway, the Cannabis webinar, VAPG grants for industrial hemp producers, is going to be tomorrow, April 6th, from 2 to 3. This is a free webinar, and Sarita Michelle will be there. Mike Daniels, program manager of USDA, and Cliff Cook. And so y'all, if y'all are interested in finding out more about that, please go check that out. Also, we have, in 10 days, we will be leaving to Colorado, y'all. Colorado Springs. They're going to be having, the Sarge with Mountain High 10 Radio is going to be having a concert. And it's going to be amazing. King Solomus, Nico Cashin, they're all going to be out there, just kicking ass. Shut Down Can't Stop Us 420 event. So it's going to be amazing. It's on April 17th from 4 to 12. And the tickets at the door are $20. And if you can get them through, I believe, the performers, then they're like 10, but you got to know somebody. And then the after party is a $50 entrance fee, and I believe you get drink coupons, and you get to meet them, and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of perks come with that. So y'all go check that out. And then, of course, we're leaving on the 16th. Brandy Martinez, Farrah Hunter, Jason, Andrea, and I will be heading up to Colorado Springs, which first time ever going to Colorado Springs, y'all, so I'm really, really excited. I've only been to like the Trinidad area right in the beginning of Colorado, so I haven't really got to venture up that far yet. So I'm very, very excited about going. And we are all getting a house. We're going to chill with Nico for the week. And we're also going to talk about alternative healing farms. If y'all haven't heard about alternative healing farms, it's going to be a patient over profit, non-profit, to help patients that can't afford their medication. So, for instance, if you are on some kind of prescription med, you can get insurance to help you with that. But because it's a Schedule 1 still and federally illegal still, no matter where you are, your insurance can't cover that. So there's a lot of people out there that can't afford their life-saving medicine, their cancer-saving medicine, and we want to be able to help. We don't believe that anybody should die because they can't afford life-saving medicine that's going to help them. So we want to be able to help those patients to be able to get some meds at either low cost or free, depending on their situation. Not only that, but have like a halfway point where people, if you're trying to come from Texas to a legal state, to be able to bring your RV up there and park it for a little bit and get on your feet and get a job, get a house to live. That way you can make that transition a little more smoothly. So, also, we will be growing our own food and having livestock and trying to be more self-sufficient as a group, as a whole, up there together. And so it's just going to be a lot of fun, y'all. And we're going to be doing all this pretty much live. As we do it, y'all are going to see everything. And y'all are going to be able to see the progress. We got our RV, Jason and I did, and that's the first step for us to go. Farah is got her house on the market and being sold right now as we speak, and she's got a realtor looking into land in Colorado. Right now, like I said, we're looking at the Trinidad area to find a farm up in that area. So if y'all know anybody that has some spots, land, or whatever, hit me up. Let me know. And I will let Farah know. Let's see. I think that may be about it. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. Nope, I think that was it. Cool. So that is our, Arlington Walk, y'all. We had the Arlington Walk a couple weekends ago, the last one before Dan and Janet moved to Colorado. They're moving. So we wanted to have one last walk in Arlington, and we did. We went out there. We had a great time. We shook hands with some people and got the cars honking and educated the public on the benefits of cannabis. We love Arlington area, and we're going to miss so much having the walks in that area or any area right now, but we really are going to miss them, and it went well. So, hell yeah, y'all. 420 Platoon also, G.I. Mary Jane, annual smoke-in at the White House, July 4th, noon at Lafayette Park. So just like up here that Normal throws every year, we can go to Fort Worth on a certain day at a certain time and actually smoke weed in front of the cops, and they don't do nothing about it. So this is what they do every year in Washington, D.C. as well. She's going to be organizing a bunch of buses that are going to Washington, D.C., and they're going to go join up for this annual smoke-in at the White House. So if y'all are in Washington, or maybe if you have a bus, or if you just would like to ride up there and join them, y'all go do that. July 4th, noon. Show them, it's not so bad, and that we can get together and all smoke and cause no trouble and be very peaceful. And so at Lafayette Park, y'all go check that out. You can find more information on that on Platoon 420 or G.I. Mary Jane. Hell yeah, y'all. Don't forget You can check out the rebroadcast of Canna Corner every Sunday on KM 420 Radio, 2 and 6. And then also WJAE420.com. That's Wendy Love Edge's radio station. And you can check that out on Wednesdays. I need to look at the time on that again because I keep forgetting. It was at 420, but I know they've changed it. So, but you can check out the replays on both those places. Big shout out to the Human Solution International. We are fixing to be doing a prisoner project, helping prisoners that are in jail for cannabis or a victimless drug crime. And we are going to be setting them up with mentors. We work with the Last Prisoner Project, which they give these prisoners money to be released so they can get back on their feet. And Craig Cecil will be heading up this project with Becca, Joe, Grumbine, and myself, getting mentors for these people getting out. Craig was saying that when he got out, it was like a shock because you get institutionalized. You're not, you've never used a computer before, some of these people. He was in 19 years. Can you imagine 19 years ago the way technology and how much has come since those 19 years? Everything has to be done on the internet now, looking for a job and all that. And he had a hard time learning the computer and the phones and everything in the way it is. And they say that he says that he could have really used somebody to help him get through all that stuff. So that's what the Human Solution International is working on right now, getting mentors all signed up for this program. If you are interested in being a mentor, go to www.thsintl.org. Heck yeah, y'all. So, I guess that's it for today. Thank y'all so much for joining me. And till next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, y'all find Canna Corner live right here on Facebook. Love y'all. Peace.